This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Haba, Agun Chodesh. Since last week, we read about the Mem Beis Masois and the Mem Beis Arei Leviim, so now we're going to learn Siman Mem Beis, because that was just a preparation for Siman Mem Beis. Here we go. Im mutter l'shanois tefillin shel yad shel rosh. Could you switch tefillin shel yad to tefillin shel rosh? Today will be a short day. It says in Mishna Berura, yad afilu ein lo shel yad v'yesh lo shnayim shel rosh. Let's say like this. Obviously, it goes without saying, to switch one for the other, you can switch a shel rosh into a shel yad. But what if you have two shel rosh and you don't have a shel yad, and now you won't be able to have tefillin? You still can't do it. Okay, the Mechaber continues. Afilu likach ritzua mehem v'litem shel yad aser. Even to take a ritzua from the shel rosh and use it for the shel yad, it's aser. Why? Mibnei she'ein moiridim kedusha chamura l'kedusha kala. You can't downgrade from a kedusha chamura to a kedusha kala. V'shel rosh kedusha say chamura. The shel rosh has more stringent kedusha. Why? Sherubai shel shakai v'shel rosh. The majority of the three letters of Hashem's name, Shin Daled Yud, are in the shel rosh. You have the Shin on the bias of the shel rosh. You have the Daled on the Nat. The Yud is in the shel yad. From shel yad the shel rosh mutar shanas. But you could change from the shel yad to the shel rosh. You'll have to upgrade. Be'im hayu chadashim. But if the tune were new and shadayin lo hinicham, and they were never put on before, mutar shanos afil mishel rosh shel yad, you could even downgrade. Why? Shetoila aleya michsa arech. Now, how are you going to make a shel rosh to shel yad? Shel rosh is 4 parshiyos, and the shel yad is 1 parsha. You place on it a covering of hide. V'nirim kavayisachah. Now it will look like one bias, and you're good to go because you never used it before. Says the Mishna Berura, shel yad, sivkatan beis ritzuo pasha doa dinartek hamiyuchal shel rosh. The case. You cannot, the case of the shel rosh you cannot use for the shel yad. Degamhu b'chlal tashmishe kedusha. It's also included in tashmish kedusha k'may ritzua, like the strap kedisa megillah chavam beizachim l'chol be'aragra v'chein kasam magen avram le'el b'soif siman chaf ches. Mayhem. Kasav Magen Avram. Dim nifsika ritzua shel yad samach lekasher. What if the strap of the shel yad snapped close to the knot? So you say, okay, great idea, I'll flip it around. You can't flip it around, but makim shu chazak where it's strong glass by shel yad and make the knot. And then and then the piece that had the knot, yikshar atal azulamata, you're going to put below. That's considered a downgrade. Why? You're downgrading it. Kivan shahaya by hakesher v'hayud, because now that area had the knot in the yud. So now it's being flipped around, so it's doing the windings and the wrappings. So it's being downgraded. The knot has more kedusha than the windings and the wrappings. What do? You're going to cut off where the knot was, and you bury it. You bury it. And this way, you're not downgrading the area that had a knot to windings and wrappings. If the ritzua was not so long, then so you won't wrap so many times, right? Because the wrappings are not ma'akev. So now I would have asked the following question. I would have asked, how does it help to cut? Right? Again, you got the case. You're tying the tefillin, and the area by the shel yad snapped, so you can't make the knot over there. So you say, why don't you just make it with whatever material is left a little bit further down? The answer is because the reason it snapped is because it's weak. It got pulled so much that it's weak. So you need to use the stronger part on the other end. Now you're going to flip it. The problem is, what used to be a knot, now you're downgrading just to wrapping. So I would ask the following question. Okay, and so what do? You cut off the part that was a knot, and you bury it. Well, is that going to help? Aren't you still downgrading the part that's left? Because the part that's left used to be near the kasher, and now it's all the way on the bottom. Apparently, proximity to the kasher is not going to elevate its status, so that now that it's far from the kasher, it's a downgrade. You hear what we're saying? In other words, it's only the knot itself can't be downgraded to a wrapping, but near the knot, it sounds like it could be downgraded. That's not an issue. Okay, we continue the Mishna Berura. V'chein b'shel Rosh. Likewise in Shel, nifsak masha makif harosh. If the part that encircles your head snapped, asr la'afich masha b'toich hakasher. You can't sort of, right, in the Shel Rosh you have what goes around the head and you have what hangs down. So if what goes around the head snapped, now you want to turn over what was within the knot, that should be out of the knot, that's a problem, mitam hanal. So now, back to what we just asked before, well, what are you doing wrong over here? Again, you're taking something that was within the knot, and you're putting it out of the knot. It sounds like anything which is in the circumference of the knot is part of the kesher. It's not just close to the kesher. Like we said, being close to the kesher is not enhanced kedusha. It's part of the kesher. Now the kesher of the Shel Rosh extends all the way around the head. Okay, that cannot be switched. Amnam im nifsika haratzua Shel Rosh mi b'chutz kesher. If the strap of the Shel Rosh outside of the knot snapped, and you want to pull it, lamata, make it go down, kedei sheyeh haratzua shlema ba'asher mavor lamala b'siman lamagiva, you want him to make long enough. So in other words, let's say the strap on the right side, let's say it snapped, and now you want to sort of pull it down so that it meets the shiur. So how are you allowed to do that? Aren't you now taking part of what used to be in the kesher and you're pulling it down? So now what used to be in the kesher is going to be out of the kesher. I would have thought that's for sure usher, because in other words, let's say the strap that's hanging down the right side, it snaps. So now you want to basically pull it so that it goes down, 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 down. Now you have the right shiur, and then what used to be within the circumference of the head is now going out of that circumference and knot. Some say that's okay. Why? Some say you could downgrade it, even though you're making it be demoted. The fact that the knot is going to be hanging below, that's not a downgrade. Because on that piece, the knot will be. Let's revisit this case tomorrow, because officially it's in tomorrow's limud, and tomorrow is a short day. Tomorrow will be a double header. We'll do the page. We have to make up for Tisha B'Av and upcoming. Okay, Rabbi say. We'll continue tomorrow with this case where the snap of the strap on the right side or the left side snaps. How do you navigate that?
It's really nice to making Shel Rosh that the bias itself has just the wrong kind of...
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.